Regarding importation of goods, imports are under the Customs Act. You may be knowing that customs duty is not submerged into GST, and only additional duties of customs is submerged. So yeah, so IGST shall be levied as additional duty of customs. Main customs duty is still be there, and only additional duties of customs will be subsumed under the GST Act, and it will be termed as IGST. Okay, so we will look upon stock transfers here. Interstate stock transfers will be taxable and will be deemed as supply. That is, if a company has manufacturing unit in Nagpur and in Maharashtra, and it is supplying to its unit, its godown in Mumbai, from Nagpur to Mumbai, then GST is not applicable. But if a person is transferring from Nagpur to another place, say Delhi, at his own branch, his own godown, but then also GST will be applicable. So in brief, if a person is transferring his stock from his own place of business to another place of business, his own place of business, say from manufacturing unit to his godown, if it is interstate, that is from one state to another state, then GST is applicable, and that person has to take state-wise registration. That is very, very important. If the business person has godown in another state, that person has to take registration in that state where godown is located, and such transactions are made taxable even if there is no consideration. See, I have shown in the first PPT that if there should be a consideration, but here consideration is not applied. So we have to note down such important things. Even though in definition or meaning you got the idea, you have to check clause by clause. Here, even if there is no consideration, in the case of stock transfers, GST will be applicable. Then intrastate stock transfer are not taxable. Means from Nagpur to Mumbai it is not taxable, no GST, but from Nagpur to Delhi or from Nagpur to Chennai, his own godown, same person's place of business, but GST will be charged even though there is no consideration. Okay, so in this slide we have seen some special transactions: intrastate and interstate supply. Intrastate means within the state, and interstate means from one state to another state. If it is intrastate supplies, state goods and services tax and central goods and services tax will be applied, and if it is interstate supply, if it is interstate supply, yeah, IGST will be applied. Interstate means different states. So I have shown some images also to clearly understand. And regarding imports, customs duty will be applicable. Additional duties of customs is submerged into GST Act and termed as IGST. And regarding stock transfers, if it is stock transfer from one state to another state, even though it is owned by a same persons, but even though there is no consideration, it will be taxable and GST will be applied. So hope the points are clear to you. Let us move to the fourth PPT in meaning on scope of supply: course or furtherance of business. What is the meaning of course or furtherance? The meaning of course or furtherance of business is difficult to explain, as there is no specific definition for it under the model GST law. But the business test can be applied. It is to be looked like this: whether it is a serious undertaking, whether the person is serious, whether he involves every time his good time in this undertaking, and whether it is a reasonable or recognizable, whether there is a reasonable or recognizable continuity. whether there is a series of transactions of similar nature. Okay. Then whether sound and recognized business principles are followed. Okay. Then making of taxable supply for consideration or profit motive. There should be a taxable supply and there should be a consideration. There should be a profit motive for doing that activity. Then only that will be considered as a course or furtherance of business. And occasional supplies, even if made for consideration, will not be subjected to GST. There should be a series of transactions. There should be a continuation. Okay. And it should be based on sound and recognized business principles. It is important in the sense that you have to make a difference between personal purchases and business purchases, or personal supplies or business supplies. Okay. Because see, for personal transactions, there is no tax applicable. Okay. Only for business there is a GST applicable, except the as listed in schedule. Okay. For all those other activities, it should be in the course or furtherance of business. Let us take some case studies. Case study 1. Mr. Ravi purchased a car for personal use and later sold to a car dealer. So in this case, Mr. Ravi is not doing a business, and car was purchased only for his personal use, and after 1 or 2 years he sold that car to a car dealer. Whether GST is applicable on such supply of car by Ravi to the car dealer, we have to analyze the situation. Here, car was bought for personal purpose, not for business purpose. He was using for this car for personal purpose only, and not for any manufacturing, sale, trading, nothing. Okay. So here the car purchased was not used for business, and no input tax credit was admissible on such car at the time of its acquisition, as it was meant for non-business use. I have explained what is input tax credit in another video. Input tax credit means we can deduct tax paid on input goods or services used in the business from our tax liability. Okay, so at the time of purchase of this car, input tax credit was not availed by the person, that is Ravi, because that was for a personal purpose. If you take the another situation, suppose Ravi was in business, he purchased car, he paid tax on that car, he would have been deducted this input tax credit from his tax liability. So such facility was not availed by him, as it was purchased for personal purpose. And there is no continuity also, because here Ravi purchased a car 2 years before and sold it. He is not a person who is purchasing 10 or 20 cars in a month and selling it to other people. No, there is no continuity. There is no more transactions other than a single transaction which is mentioned. So because of these reasons, car bought for personal purpose, no input tax credit was availed, and there is no continuity. This transaction should be treated as not in the course or furtherance of business. It is not in the course or furtherance of business. Suppose Mr. Ravi was a person who was purchasing cards and selling cards. In that case, it would have been treated as in the course or furtherance of business. Let us take case study 2. Mr. Kishore, a dealer of air conditioners, here he is a businessman, transfers an air conditioner from his stock in trade to use at his residence. Will the transaction constitute a supply? That is, Kishore is a businessman, he is dealing with air conditioners, he sells air conditioners to his customer, and here he took one AC for his user personal purpose for his residence, because maybe climate may be very hot. In Delhi it is very hot now. It is getting hot. Okay. And in many parts. Yesterday we got a rain here in Kerala. Okay. So for Kishore, we will treat it as a business asset purchase. Okay. Because here Kishore is a person who sells ACs, and when he takes away one AC for his personal purpose, actually it is a withdrawal from business. In that case, it will be treated as supply and GST is applicable. Still some arguments are going on in this area, so some latest notifications can come regarding withdrawal of goods or services by a business person for his personal purpose. Case study 3. Whether a provision of service or goods by a club or association or society to its members will be treated as supply or not. It is a normal scenario. Nowadays you can find clubs, societies, association everywhere. In that case, whether it should be treated as supply, whether GST is applicable, what should be done? Here, yes, provision of facilities by a club, association, society or any such body to its members shall be treated as supply because it is included in the definition of business as per section 2 subsection 17 of model GST law. So we have covered almost all PPTs, means 4 PPTs were there in chapter meaning and scope of supply. We have also analyzed 3 case studies. Case studies is an important part in the GST Act also. There is a chance for a lot of litigations, and particularly regarding our second course. This is our beginners course. In intermediate course, what we are coming with within a couple of months, will deal with a lot of practical case studies and practical procedures, and it will be very useful to the working class people, particularly managers, employees and businessmen. So this is 4th PPT. So in this video, in this webinar, we have covered course or furtherance of business, how we will identify the course or furtherance of business. We have seen case study 1, Ravi purchased a car for personal use and later sold to a car dealer. As it is not a continuous transaction and he has not availed the input tax credit, it will be treated as not in business, and it should not be treated as in the course or furtherance of business. And the second case study, Mr. Kishore, a dealer of air conditioners, took away AC for his personal purpose. In that case, it is subject to GST. It is applicable. It will be treated as a supply. And regarding the third case study, provision of goods for association or society its members, still it will be treated as business and GST will be applicable. So this is the end of the 4th PPT. Today we will cover an important area, that is enrollment procedure. Last day some of you have requested for this part, so I will cover enrollment procedure for rest of the time. It is very important because all businesses existing now should undergo the enrollment procedure, means migration from the existing law to the GST law. Thank you. Let us start with the enrollment in GST. So I have already told you regarding what is enrollment. Enrollment is the transfer of existing businesses to GST system. So the points you have to be very careful now, because you may be running a business and you can serve your customers also. No, there is no deemed enrollment on GST System Portal. That is, the existing businesses will not be transferred automatically. All taxpayers should initiate enrollment procedure for transferring their existing businesses to the GST system. So all the taxpayers registered under any of the acts submerged into GST should enroll themselves. And where we want to do it is in the common portal gst.gov.in. And to whom it is applicable? It is applicable to all existing taxpayers registered under any central government or state government acts which are submerged into GST. So various taxes that are subsumed into GST are central excise, service tax, state sale tax, VAT, entertainment tax, entry tax, luxury tax, etc. So those who have registered under any of this act should be compulsorily do the enrollment procedure. And how we can do the enrollment procedure? Why we want to do it? Because the data available with the various tax authorities may be incomplete. The latest data may not be available, and it has to be validated by the taxpayers or the department authorities by filling up the key fields, and there should be a smooth transition to GST regime, so that should be ensured. And it is common for all taxpayers registered under the central State or Union Territory Tax Act. What are the advantages for this enrollment system? It is useful for GST compliance requirement. It is a necessity for return filing, tax payment, etc. under the new GST system. And there is no paper-based enrollment. You don't want to go to a government office for doing enrollment. You can sit comfortably in your office, or otherwise you need to get an assistance of a tax consultant or a chartered accountant, and they can comfortably sit in their office and can complete the enrollment procedure on submitting necessary documents from your end. And no charges applicable, no fees, no deposit, nothing is there for enrollment. And there is a help desk facility at the end of the government, on the side of the government, to facilitate easy enrollment by all taxpayers. Other points you can recollect is latest information is ensured in GST database through this enrollment procedure, and it is ensured that there is no need of amendment on doing this enrollment procedure after implementation of GST. Then has to apply on the GST System Portal. The person who need to migrate to the GST system can do it in the System Portal. And enrollment under GST is common for both central GST and the state GST. That is very important. You need not do separate registration under the GST acts separately under the central government and state government. No, you need to do a common enrollment procedure. And this was the timeline which was issued in October end. Various states were put in various timelines. So the enrollment procedure was started on 8th November 2016 with Puducherry and Sikkim, and it was ended with Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh on 15th 1 2017. That is for VAT and all. Then for service tax registrants, it was put as 31st January as last date, but still the process is going on. It is not an easy task. Millions of business taxable persons are there in India. So all these persons has to be migrated to GST system. So this was the first PPT regarding enrollment. Hope the points are clear. We will quickly go through the second PPT. What are the requirements for enrolling? You will get a login from state VAT or central tax department. Maybe almost all persons will get the login from their VAT department, sales tax department itself. Such login was not received. Jurisdictional state or central authorities can be contacted by the taxable person, and you need to go to gst.gov.in and need to log in with the login and password received from the tax department. Okay, Murthy is asking, if the business not already registered, then how it will be registered now? Can be done later too. Yeah, that can be done now also. If you start any new business now, you have to take registration. But one important thing you need to note down is there are exemption levels. So if the exemption level is such turnover is not crossed before June 30th, no registration is required. And in case of interstate supplies, sales and all, it is registration is required. So you can register now also. Okay, so what are the requirements for enrollment? One is provisional ID that you will get from the tax department, password, so you will get. The other requirements are you should have an email address that should be used for a long time. It should be used by the authorized signatory. Okay, there should be a mobile number. This email and mobile number is very, very important because all communications you get from GST portal will be directed to this email and mobile number. So it is a very important. Then you should have a bank account number, bank IFSC code. So these are the requirements. Then what are the other documents you need to carry when you are doing enrollment procedure? The first thing is proof of constitution of business. That is, if it is a partnership firm, partnership deed, or in the other cases, registration certificate. Suppose it is a private limited company, then incorporation certificate is required. Then photograph of promoter or authorized signatory. This include if it is a proprietorship, proprietor's photograph, partnership firm, it is partners, HUF, Karta. If it is a company, director. Okay, so such person's photograph is required. There is a star, so we will see what is star. Yeah, it should be in JPG format and maximum size of 100 KB. So you need to minimize the size of the file to 100 KB. Okay, it should be less than 100 KB. Then if it is regarding proof of constitution of business, it should be either in the PDF or JPG format and maximum size is 1 MB. Okay, so yeah, that should be taken care. Then declaration or proof of appointment of the authorized signatory, that should be there. It should be in the PDF or JPG format less than 1 MB. Then opening page of the bank passbook or statement, that is also should be there. It should contain bank account number, address of the branch, address of the account holder, and latest some transaction details. So passbook should be there. Then digital signature or valid Aadhaar card for validation. Okay, so it should be there. Means if it is a proprietorship, we can use e-signature based on Aadhaar card, and if it is some persons like companies and all, that should be done with only with digital signature. So we will see what is a digital signature for any person seeing for the first time. Token will be like this, and DS is mandatory for companies, foreign companies, LLPs and foreign LLPs. For other taxpayers, DSC is optional. And we need to register our digital signature certificate in the GST System Portal, and the PAN of the digital signature certificate holder, that is authorized signatory, should match with the PAN database of the CBDT, means Central Board of Direct Taxes. The PAN should be validated. Okay. Then after validation, the user should select the certificate link which is to be registered. Only class 2 or class 3 DS is valid. So this is regarding digital signature. And those persons for whom DS is not mandatory, such persons can use e-signature. And e-signature means that person should have an Aadhaar. Only Aadhaar holder can sign the document with his e-signature. And what he should do? Click on the e-sign button on the common portal. Enter the Aadhaar number. On entering the Aadhaar number, the GST System Portal will send a request to UIDAI, means the authority who is handling Aadhaar card, and one-time password will be sent. This one-time password will be sent by UIDAI, and this one-time password will be received in the email address or mobile number of the registered person. One important factor, that when we took the Aadhaar card, we might have been given our mobile number and email ID. That should not be different from what you are using now, because as per the UIDAI records, there is a separate mobile number or email ID that is given at that time when you taken the Aadhaar card. That should be the same what you are using now. So that what should be same. Otherwise, you cannot do e-signature. And on getting such one-time password, the user will enter the OTP and submit the. So e-signing process is complete. So that is regarding e-signature. And regarding format of GST identification number, the format is like this. The first 2 digit is state code. I have already told in another video that this GST registration number all will be depend upon the PAN. So the other digits, 10 digits are of PAN. Then the 1 digit will be entity number of the same PAN holder in the state. Then there is insert by default. Then at the end there is a checksum digit. So that is the format of the GST identification number. So we are at the end of that PPT2. We have seen you will get a login and password from the concerned tax department. You should have email address, mobile number, bank account number and IFSC. You should have a set of documents with you, and you should have a digital signature or e-signature. Okay, so these are the requirements for doing enrollment. Let us see the third PPT for enrollment. After enrollment, what will happen? Application reference number or ARN will be generated within 15 minutes after the successful enrollment in mobile. And if you do not get the SMS, you will get an email. Then there is a unique number assigned to each transaction. Track the status of your application. Okay, so there is a procedure after the enrollment procedure. And the format of application reference number will be like this. Two alphabets will be there: state code, month, year, system generated code, check some digit, like that. Then what are the various errors that may happen? Internet connection lost, that is normal. Okay, so you have to go to dashboard, my saved application menu, click the edit button. Okay, and another error is mismatch during PAN validation. You need to log into GST System Portal, fill the details as per your PAN details, resubmit the enrollment application again. Then another is digital signature certificate is expired or revoked. Re-register using your DSC. Log into the GST System Portal. Go to dashboard, register, update DSC menu. In case of revocation, get another valid DSC. So these are the things coming in the third PPT. So let us move to the fourth PPT. After the appointed date. What do you mean by appointed date? Can anybody answer? Appointed date means the date on which GST will be implemented, on GST will be applicable. Okay, so considering the existing situation, we can understand that 99% it will come on July 1st. So July 1st is the appointed date. Let us understand like that in this webinar at least. Provisional certificate will be available on your dashboard on the appointed date. On July 1st, you will get a provisional certificate. And this provisional certificate will be available only after successful enrollment. Okay, enrollment should be successful. You should have got AIRN like that. Then, final registration certificate within 6 months after the appointed date. Suppose GST was will be implemented in July 1st, then you will get the final registration certificate before December 31st. That is the clause as of now. Then final registration certificate will be provided after verification of necessary documents. Then rejection of application for enrollment. The application for enrollment with the GST System Portal can be rejected in case you have furnished or uploaded wrong or fake or incorrect document. In that case it will be rejected. Then before any such rejection, reasonable opportunity of being heard, means a hearing, meeting with the tax authorities will be done. Okay, then if there is any amendments, we can make amendments to the enrollment application from appointed date onwards. We can change details. If mobile number and email ID is required to be changed, we can change that also. Some important points we have to consider. What we will do if there is multiple businesses or verticals. Multiple businesses in one state under the same PAN. What is vertical? In one of the last video I have told the person who has a textile manufacturing unit and another supermarket. Both are having different businesses. So it is different verticals, different kind of businesses. So one PAN allows one registration in a state. So we have to register one business entity first. For the remaining business verticals, suppose we have registered for supermarket business, but what need to do for this textile manufacturing unit, that you can contact with the concerned valid department. There are a lot of training going on for them, so they will answer, they will help you. Okay, then ISD registration. What is ISD? Resha sir is asking about. If one business has say 50 branches in same state, how the GST registration number will be provided? Sir, GST registration number will be uniform, same state, there is no problem. If it is different states only, there will be problem, as far as my understanding. ISD means input service distributor. Means if a company has head offices in Mumbai and that same business has branches in Kochi, Madurai, Mumbai, Calcutta, like that, when they get input service tax credit, means input tax credit, that credit can be distributed among the units of the same business. Okay, so like that we can do. So such person who is distributing such input tax credit is called as input service distributor. So regarding input service distributor, they need to separately register, okay, and they need to apply afresh in the GST system portal. Okay, same. Then what is that in the digit stands for? Okay, so far my understanding is if it is same state, only one registration is required. There is no need of separate registration. But if it is in different states, separate registration is required. Mr. Ashwini, you are correct. These banks and all, they are thinking how to take the registration. Maybe some notifications can come for them. Not clear, but there is a chance. Yeah, okay. So that is the end of the webinar today. Hope you have enjoyed the sessions. Regarding enrollment procedure, you can help your means you can yourself enroll if it is not done, and you can help your friends or clients. Yeah, whether recorded webinar is in the website. Yeah, we are doing it for the first 2 or 3 webinars, but the thing is, actually, we are committed to our franchises. So further webinars will be available for franchises only. Means one more webinar will be free for public. And regarding the study materials for attention of franchises, we have already sent the study materials. It will be reaching to you, and we have developed a brochure, GST Centre. So that brochure is also reaching to you. Here everything is explained, our courses and the e-learning and direct training details. So this brochure can be used for business purposes, for promotion activities. Means you can see our website gstcentre.in. In that website you can apply for franchisee in the by applying clicking on the top menu. Any more doubts or any support required, you can ask. I will try to help. The next webinar will be covering time of supply. That is important chapter, and we will cover time of supply for goods and time of supply for services and other points, important points which are applied in the time of supply scenario. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Bye.